Have you ever stopped and wondered if your best ideas, your data, your online content are just being used as free fuel for these massive internet companies? Well, today, we're going to look at a completely different way to build a web. It's a blueprint that's designed from the ground up to actually value and pay for human contribution. So, let's get into it.
Yeah, you heard that right. The thinking behind this starts with tackling something called web slavery. Now, that's a really strong term, but it gets right to the point. This is all about creating a way to make sure that when you create something valuable, you get paid fairly for it. Period.
And let's be honest, that's the core issue with the web as we know it, right? The whole business model for so many platforms is built on our unpaid work. Our content, our data, what's called our knowledge capital. It just gets copied and used to build someone else's fortune, and we're often left out of the equation entirely.
So what we're talking about is a massive shift. You can see it right here. Instead of your data being duplicated everywhere, it's linked directly back to you. Instead of some central company having all the control, you have individual ownership. We move from a system of exploitation to one of fair compensation. You stop being the product and you start being a real stakeholder in your own digital life.
Okay, so how in the world do we actually build this thing? Well, it all starts with a brand new foundation, a totally different way of thinking called the human-centric web.
And the absolute cornerstone of this new web is something called your infork. Think of it as your complete digital self. It's not just a profile on a website. No. This is everything. Your identity, your biometrics, your data, even your own personal AI or mindware. It's an entity made of your information that you and only you truly own and control.
And here's a peek at what that could actually look like. It's like a personal dashboard for your entire digital life. An information bank account where you are the one in the driver's seat, managing everything and deciding who gets access to what, all on your own terms.
So let's dig into the actual technology that makes all of this possible. And that brings us to the idea of knowledge banking.
The analogy is pretty simple, but it's really powerful. We all trust banks to hold our money, right? So what if we had that same level of trust and security for what is arguably our most valuable asset in the digital age? Our ideas, our knowledge capital.
Now, the most important word here is fiduciary. This is the absolute game changer. It means these knowledge banks have a legal binding duty to act in your best interest. They can't just take your data and sell it or use it for their own profit. They're just the custodians. This completely flips the current model on its head.
And here's how you'd use it. First, you prove who you are with secure, verifiable credentials. Then you deposit your work, your ideas, your content into your own personal vault. From there, you use simple electronic contracts to decide who can use it and how. And the whole time, the system is tracking everything, creating a crystal clear record of the value you're creating.
So we've got the foundation, we've got the mechanism, but what does this actually look like in the real world? How does it change the way we collaborate and get things done?
This is a huge deal, especially for knowledge workers. I mean, think about all the open source developers, the freelance designers, the writers whose brilliant work gets absorbed and used by massive companies, often with zero payment and sometimes not even a thank you.
The solution proposed is a platform called the Work Project. You can think of it as a decentralized hub for collaboration, where every single contribution, every piece of code, every design, every idea is tracked right back to its source.
And here are the features that make it so powerful. Provenance means there's an unbreakable record of your work. Dynamic equity is just, wow. It means that if your contribution suddenly becomes super valuable years down the line, you still get your fair share. The payment models are also really flexible. You can get paid up front through things like obligation costs or share in future profits. It's a whole system built for fairness. This quote really just nails it. The whole point of the ledger is to make one simple promise. If you do useful work, you will get paid for it. And it'll be based on terms that everyone agreed to from the very beginning. No more guesswork, no more exploitation. But, this isn't just about fixing things for freelancers and creatives. The vision here is so much bigger. We're talking about building a completely new kind of global infrastructure.
Because once you create a system that's built on trust and fair compensation, you unlock this incredible potential for people all over the world to work together on our biggest, most complex problems. And that trust is the stepping stone to what's being called humanitarian ICT and peace infrastructure.
So what is peace infrastructure? Well, it's about using this new web architecture to build real-world solutions for global challenges. Things like sustainable housing, new healthcare solutions, projects that are directly aimed at hitting the UN's Sustainable Development Goals.
And the potential here is it's incredible. This kind of framework doesn't care about borders. It could create a neutral territory where the best minds, even from countries that are in conflict with each other, can come together and collaborate safely and fairly on projects that benefit every single one of us.
And really, that's the ultimate goal: to build technology that's obligation-free, meaning it's not owned or controlled by any one country or corporation. It would be technology that is literally built by humanity for humanity.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Imagine for a second, what could we as a species actually build if every single person's contribution was seen, was tracked, and was truly valued? What could we achieve together?